I'm just gonna I'm just gonna get into it. Hey guys! Thank you so much for tuning in to my second video on my channel. It really means a lot. This week's video, I'm really excited to get into it because I think it could be really helpful to a lot of people. So if you don't know already, if you haven't read the title, this is going to be a breakdown of some information I've collected on depression as a mental illness and also some of my personal experiences with depression as well. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for when I'm posting. And it would really mean a lot to me if you could also share this video if you found it helpful or useful. And yeah. Also, quick note, sorry about my glasses. I fell asleep in my contacts last night, so trying to give my eyes a little break. I've also included the sources I got all this information from in the description box down below if you'd like to do some further reading. So, what is depression? A lot of people think, I feel like, it's like when you're kind of sad sometimes. According to Harvard Health, depression doesn't spring from having simply too much or too little of certain chemicals in your brain. It's not just having not enough serotonin or etc., though many believe it is. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. This could have to do with, your mood regulation by the brain, your genetic vulnerability, life events, medications, and also medical problems. So, knowing that so many different factors can affect depression, it's interesting because since it's affected by so many different things, the right treatment can be different for each person because each person can have a different combination of a lot of these things. Moving on, we're going to go into some symptoms of depression. I got these from the Mayo Clinic, and there's honestly a lot of different symptoms. Now, to have depression, you don't need to exhibit all these symptoms. Not everyone exhibits all these symptoms. Some symptoms are more prominent in some people than others. But there's your everyday feelings of sadness, tearfulness, like if you just, feel like you need to cry for no reason, emptiness, hopelessness. Something that I think a lot of people don't know is that depression can actually make you very irritable. So you could have angry outbursts, you could be frustrated easily, especially over small matters. Other symptoms include loss of interest or pleasure in normal activities. There's also sleep disturbance. You can either sleep too much or sleep not enough. In high school, I didn't sleep enough. I had insomnia. I would sleep maybe 2 hours a night. I just couldn't put myself to sleep. I had a lot of racing thoughts in my head. Again, this had to do with like the anxiety part of the depression as they come hand in hand. Now in college, I realize I tend to oversleep. I sleep like at least 12 hours a day if I can, and I still feel tired, which is really bad. Tiredness and fatigue is also another symptom of depression. Also changes in appetite, such as overeating or undereating, feelings of worthlessness, guilt, fixating on failures, trouble thinking, concentrating. And lastly, there's unexplained physical problems such as back pain or headaches. Keep in mind that depression does affect more than just your mood, and it's more complex than just being sad. I'd like to address what you can possibly do if you think you or someone you care about has depression. Now again, everything I said before was from, reputable sources. This is all from my personal experience. I'm not a professional. I'm just someone who has had depression. So hopefully some of what I say can help you or someone you really care about. If you think you have depression, don't settle for it. I settled for depression. And what I mean by this is that I was like, this is fine. Yeah, life sucks, but I guess that's just how it is. But that is so wrong. Even if you think that it's no big deal, realize that you should be happier. You deserve to be happier, and you can be happier. You can fucking love your life. I did not know this. I was literally sitting in an ER room. I didn't want to be hospitalized. I was so sad. And I was just like, I'll be fine. I don't want to miss school. I can't be behind in school. And this nurse literally said to me, but you're so miserable. And I literally just I can't. I don't have time to be miserable. It was my junior year. I have to get my grades up. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for colleges. It was a lot of school stress, to be honest. I didn't have to settle for that. I could be successful and happy, and you can too. And I think that's very important to realize. I was so miserable, and today I just sent in an application with 5 of my best friends. We're applying for a house we're renting next year. I'm gonna live with these amazing girls that I'm so lucky are in my life. Like, I'm on top of the world. Life can be so much better, and you deserve to get there. If you are too scared or don't have the means to, seek help yourself, such as finding a therapist or just, starting that whole treatment process, talk to someone who can help you. You can talk to a friend you trust, but especially if you're a minor, this may be really hard, but talk to an adult. They can help you find a therapist, start medication, find a psychiatrist. You could definitely talk to your school counselor. I started my treatment when I had to talk to a counselor because, like I said in my first video, someone reported me to them. And I then had to talk to my parents about it. I'm Asian American. My parents come from a really conservative background. Especially in China, mental illnesses are not talked about. They're weird, or that aunt's a little weird. And that's definitely a journey I had to endure and grow with my parents. And if they won't come through for you, some other adult will. Don't give up, because some adult will help you through this. But one thing is, if you're talking to someone, if you're reaching out to a friend, your friend is not your therapist. It's not your friend's job to make sure, you're doing okay. And I think this is really important to say, because it can cause a strain on friendships or relationships. Your significant other is not your therapist. It's not their job to go through all these problems with you and work it out. You shouldn't blame them if they can't understand you, because they're not trained for this. A lot of people can think, oh, but it's just my therapist's job, I'm just paying them to care about me. Isn't that better? There's no ulterior motive. Your doctor is not gonna do some dumb shit because they want more money. They're not gonna accidentally make you sick. They're gonna do their job right because they went to school for it. They're literally certified for it. So it's much better to go to a therapist, and they know so much more about how to handle these things than your best friend. And yeah, your best friend maybe knows you better, but they have their own problems too. And I think it's better for everyone if people seek professional help. And if you're scared to start talking to someone, there are so many hotlines you can call. Even now, there are online messaging, texting. If you're scared to talk to someone on the phone, please do not be afraid to reach out. Someone wants to listen to you. I don't know why you'd reach out to me. I'm just some teenage girl. But I want to hear what you're going through. I want to make sure you're doing okay. You can even reach out to me. Someone out there will listen to you. If you think someone you care about may have depression, I think what you can definitely do to help is get informed. A lot of people don't know a lot about depression. Look it up, read about it, what you can do, treatments, medication. So you finally talk to someone, you deserve treatment, you deserve to get better. Where do you start? My primary physician actually gave me a list of recommended therapists. For me, what happened was my primary noticed the scars on my arm. She's like, what's going on? We're going to talk about this. I'm like, oh, crap. But it ended up being a good thing, because I found my therapist that honestly helped me so much. I went through a lot of therapists before finding one I liked, because you need to find someone that you're going to be okay with sitting in a room with and crying. And maybe you don't get to that point. Maybe for some people therapy doesn't work, but usually depression is a combination of both environment and genetics. That's why treatment is often both ways to deal with the environment, such as going to therapy, talking about your problems that are caused by the environment, and the genetics is treated with medication. So usually it's a combination of both that leads to you getting better. So you really need to find a therapist that you connect with. If you think therapy can help you, do not give up. There's going to be someone out there who's going to be right for you. Then there's also the medication part, which I said. there are like a few different classes of medication. For example, I was initially taking Lexapro, which is an SSRI. I was on that for 4 years, but now I'm switching to Prozac because Lexapro stopped working. And this happens a lot. My psychiatrist calls this a poop out. Like, don't be discouraged if you've been on a medication for a while and it stops working, because sometimes it just happens. And don't be discouraged if one medication doesn't work for you. Like I said before, each person is different, each depression is different, and each medication does different things. That's why there are so many of them. And oftentimes, it's going to work together. They're going to, I think, if you want to start medication, they're going to start you on something that usually works for a lot of people. You're going to need to find a psychiatrist that works for you. When I first got a psychiatrist, I found one that specialized in adolescence because I was in high school. I was a teenager. We're complicated, okay? My psychiatrist is also my therapist. Quick fact, what's the difference? Therapist does therapy, they talk to you, but psychiatrists have the right to prescribe medication. Therapists cannot prescribe medication. And some people are trained in both. I found one who's trained in both. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole first person point of view. Now, I'm going to go into what you can do if you think someone you care about has depression. And I want to preface this again by saying this is just from my point of view. These are things that I would have really appreciated if someone did for me, or these are things that people have done for me that really helped me. So first off, don't expect the other person to know what's causing the depression, what makes it worse, what makes it better. It's really hard to provide answers when you don't have them. They're just as lost as you are. They are figuring this out every step of the way, just like you are. They know just as much as you do, whatever you can find on the internet. The thing is, the internet has nothing about what's going on in your head specifically. I didn't know why I was depressed. It was really hard for me to answer all these questions that, people I cared about were asking me when I honestly had no idea. Realize that they're experiencing this for the first time just like you are. And for me specifically, I really liked having a bit of space. So it was really hard when my mom was like, oh, what did you talk to your therapist about? What did you do today? What do you mean by that? Why aren't you smiling? Some days I was just having an off day. I was just tired. And I felt kind of attacked sometimes when my parents were like very much hovering around me. It felt like they didn't trust me. This may be different for some people, and again, if someone is high risk for suicide, it may make sense to hover. When I was in the hospital, someone checked on me every 15 minutes, even when I was sleeping, even when I was in the shower, because I needed it. But some people aren't there. So really figure out what's going to be best for you and the person you care about. Talk it through with them. Be like, am I being over supportive? Am I being suffocating? Or would you like me to be around more? Because oftentimes it's hard for us to speak up. That's just part of the oh, we don't matter sort of aspect, which is really not good. Don't be disappointed if they relapse. I was heartbroken when I relapsed in terms of self-harm. I saw the disappointment on my mom's face, and she can't hide it. But I get why she was hurt by it. I was trying my best. That's all we can do. We can try our best. But realize that, sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional. Realize that depression is not a straight line. It's not linear. You're going to have ups and downs. Just be there for each part of them. Be there when they're up and be there when they're down. And understand that they're trying. They're really trying. Fighting depression is really hard. And you can't see it. So a lot of people, they don't know what's going on, which isn't their fault, but it's every day is a literal battle. You wake up exhausted from the day before. You have to put on armor, you have to find your weapons, and you have to go onto the battlefield and fight sunrise to sundown, and then crawl into bed and fall asleep knowing that you have to do it again. And it's hard. sometimes you don't know if it's going to get better. But it does. It really does. You have to look back at the hill you climbed. You have to look back at how far you're coming. Because it really doesn't have to be like that. But just keep in mind that the person who is suffering from depression is suffering and they're trying their best. Just respect that. They're really giving it their all because they don't want to be sad. They don't want to feel like shit every day. It's not fun. Now that I'm emotional, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the positive reactions to my last video. You know, I knew all of my friends would be really supportive, but I didn't know that everyone would be supportive. Not that, like, you know, I got like 1,000 views, because, like, who cares? I got, like, don't go back and be like, whoa, she's famous. I'm not. It's not, like, a huge reaction. Just, I'm thankful for the support I'm getting. So, thank you so much for watching this. Thanks for watching me cry, I guess. Sorry if that happens again. I cry really easily, which is a good thing, because I used to not cry at all. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!